Hey YouTube, coming at you with a Beyond the Hype on Empoleon. So Beyond the Hype is where I go over Pokemon with new moves to tell you their strengths and weaknesses and give you an honest look at them so you can just have all the information when you make your own decision. I give my opinion on what I believe its strengths and weaknesses are and just kind of go through it analytically with some A and plus some battles. And then you have that option to use that information for your own judgment instead of just just listening to content creators saying everything is amazing. Empoleon got Steel Wing and jumped up to rank 21 Shadow and rank 34 non-Shadow. So there's a couple things going for it against it, and I'm gonna go over all those. Honestly, I was not impressed with it, and I think it struggles from a couple things. So the first one is the obvious one. The first one is the reason that it has always struggled in the Great League, and that is just its stat products. It's a more attack heavy Pokemon, 125 attack, 115 defense, 122 stamina for 1778 overall. But the problem is it's not even like an attack heavy Pokemon, and this is what makes it like really bad stat product wise. Like a lot of the glass cannons, like I just did Gallade yesterday, right? And with Gallade, you know you're a glass cannon. So 137, 114, 104, right? So really bad stamina, but like 137 attack, you're really hitting hard with those attack there. But Empoleon kind of suffers from your attack's higher, kind of, and your defense's stamina is not good, but it's like not the worst in the world. So you fall in that like your overall stat product sucks. You're not like a glass cannon because you don't have the attack to go behind it, but you're still too glassy enough to compete with the rest of Great League on your own. So from a stat product standpoint, you're really Empoleon's bad for Great League. In terms of the new move, I'm not sold on it for I guess the one big reason is I don't know. Well, I guess here's the pros and cons. So less damage than Waterfall per turn. Good news is you do get same type attack bonus on both. Like you are half steel, half water, so you get same type attack bonus on both. So losing 0.6 damage per turn, but gaining just under 0.7 or just over 0.7. Nope, just over 0.8 energy per turn. So the trade-off in itself is not bad at all, right? You're giving up a little bit of damage to get an okay amount more energy. But the problem is why I have a problem with this is you're not taking it. This move does not take it above where it needs to be to make up for its stat product, right? It is an improvement, slightly. Your damage is still doing okay, and your energy is good. So now it's a 2-turn move or 3-turn move, so that is a positive. Having a 2-turn move instead of a 3-turn move is a big positive for Steel Wing. We'll give it that. And I will give it with the energy generation. It now takes so it'll be 7 for 1 turn. So 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42. That is 6. So 6 times 2 is 12 turns worth of move, as opposed to Waterfall, which took 5 to get to the thing, which is 5 times 3, which is 15 turns worth of moves, right? So there is a savings, very obvious savings in terms of getting to your moves. In terms of your charge moves, you obviously have Hydro, which is one of the best in the game, with stab, 2.4 damage per energy for 40 energy. Great. Your second move that everyone runs is Jolpeg. And Jolpeg is one of those where it's like, it's not bad. It's not great. It's decent for coverage sort of thing. And what it comes down to is like, if Hydro's like double resisted, or Jolpeg hits super effective, yes, it's a nice move. But on its own, 40 for 65, 1.63 is not the best. Your typing is also your pro with Empoleon. A water steel, weak to fighting, weak to ground, weak to electric. Yeah, there's some of that. But that duo typing to double resist steel, poison, ice, and then single resist water, rock, psychic, normal, flying, fairy, dragon, and bug is great from that perspective. So why I think Empoleon kind of rose up is because I think like this is what I had problems with in action. So 18 and 27 record in the one shield with the non-shadow, and 23 and 22 record in the one shield with the shadow version. And the thing is, I don't think that significantly improves in either shield scenario. So yeah, they're 2 and 2. You're still 23, 22. In the zeros, 25 and 19. So you slightly better being able to just like hydro. And then in the two shields here, you actually lose 17 and 28. And in the zeros with the non-shadow, you are 18 and 28 or 16 and 28. So really bad. And I think what it comes down to, again, it comes down to the fact that your fast move does not improve enough to make up for your what is not an amazing second move and your stat product. So even with the shadow, at best, you're like in the zero shields, you're 25 and 19, which is a 550 average, or else you're just like hovering around average, like even or below. And like, that's not what you want. I just showed you yesterday how a Gallade in the, actually I didn't do the 0 versus 1, so that's not a fair comparison. Let me do the 0 versus 1. But I've got to imagine the 0 and 1 with the shadow is not going to be 43 and 2. 38 and 7. So that's actually not as bad as I thought it would be. 38 and 7. And let's do the 1 versus 2. 34 and 11. So again, you don't make it's decent. That record is decent. I just don't think that you make up for it enough to overcome your glassiness in the Great League. So again, there are some pros, and we'll see it in action here. I think it's sort of three biggest strengths is your typing. Steel water typing is a great typing to have. Like I already went over all the resistances and only 3 weaknesses coming out of all that. So I think having just 3 of those weaknesses is great. In terms of those weaknesses, there is a decent amount of fighting in Great League, right? You're seeing 2 of them go battle right here. There's a decent amount of grounds. Again, you hit super effective against other grounds. So grounds hit super effective against you. You hit super effective against grounds with the water. So it's not the worst there. And then electric is obviously just really tough. And then something like Lantern just like kills you. So overall typing I think is great. There's okay amount of weaknesses in the Great League. It is an improvement, just giving up a little bit of damage to get more energy, so you just get to those moves faster. Again, this is just, you're seeing just great typing coming through, and they just really don't have anything to deal with that. Yeah, you're seeing, what was I saying? A little bit of damage. So yeah, the Steel Wing is a slight improvement. I just don't think you make up for your stat product. Now I think it'll have play in limited metas. The thing is, I already said for Alligator, jumps to the top 10 to 15 Pokemon for me. Yes. Gallade, I think, is a top to 10 to 15 Pokemon too, because it is so strong in the 1v0 shields and just like how fast you get to the moves. And it's like a core breaker, right? Because you have a close combat, which can nuke steals, and then you have a grass for all the waters running everywhere. So the move set on Gallade is even better with the fact that it's an actual glass cannon that you are getting to charge moves super, super fast. Yeah, but again, Empoleon just kind of falls between the cracks of not attack heavy enough to be like a nuker type Pokemon, but not glassy enough to be considered a glass cannon, and that doesn't hit hard enough, but not strong enough to be any sort of like good product overall, right? So it's a weird spot. It's a really weird spot for Empoleon to be in. Again, when you see the 21st ranked Pokemon, it's interesting because Poke in the rankings takes it in the 1 shield. So to have a 500 record in the 1 shield and be ranked 21 doesn't make sense to me. I bet you there's a ton of Pokemon below that have a better record than that. Yeah, so I would not put this anywhere in my top 30, honestly, for Great League. There's definitely 30 plus other Pokemon I would use before Empoleon. Pretty much everything above it on PvP Poke. Cresselia, Registeel, Lickitung, Gligar, Swampert, Carbix, Skarmory, Feraligatr, Lantern, Mantine, Mandibuzz, Bastiodon, Quagsire, Whiscash, Annihilate, Azumarill, Guzzlord, Stunfisk. I would use all those before and even after. Gallade, Medi, Poliwrath, Serperior, Vigoroth, Clodsire. I would use all those before. Shadow Dragonair I would use before. Sableye I would use before. Trevenant I would probably use before. Like, it truly is not one of those I'm going to just team build around. If you are going to team build around it, again, you have a ton of how do you team build around it? So I built Crest and Annihilate. You're double weak to Ghost on this team and Dark, so like not the best team build. But essentially the team build was I did it because you're weak to ground and weak to fighting. So I just covered the ground fighting with like Cresselia and Annihilate. And then if you're using Crest, I covered it with Crest, and if you're using Crest, you need a fighter to deal with all the steals. And now that you have a Steel Wing Empoleon mixed with a Cresselia, which doesn't have any moves to throw at steals, you need like a counter user to deal with the steals. So that's kind of how I did it. You need some bulk on your team, hence Crest and Annihilate's got some decent bulk. And then, yeah, that's how you have to build with it. You have to cover your obvious weaknesses, cover Lantern. Yeah, so cover your electrics again. Outside of Lantern, there's not really other electrics you really need to worry about. I would just cover Lantern. And then ground again. You can kind of cover ground if you want, but you'll do fine against ground yourself. And then fighters. Yeah, you need to cover fighters because you're going to get deleted very quickly against the counter user. So that is basically this Pokemon. And then tomorrow's the Hippo. Yeah, looking at again, I'm filming this at 10 o'clock at night, Sunday nights to go up Monday morning. I can't catch up on these videos. I mean, this weekend was all birthday. If you watch my other videos, my daughter's 5th birthday, so we were just nonstop people over. So I couldn't get ahead on videos. And then my work schedule this week, I already know it's busy. So this week is realistically, as much as I wanted to put out more teams, it's just going to be one per day. Maybe like Wednesday I probably won't be able to do 2 on Tuesday, but maybe on Wednesday, we'll see. But basically you're going to have Hippo Tuesday morning, Goodra Wednesday morning, and right now I'm using Credilli on a team, which is like a nice core breaker right now, actually, because you got the grass for all these waters, and then it also gives you like rock for flyers and stuff. So it's a really nice core breaker right now. I'm doing really well with it. And that'll go up right now, Thursday, tentative. Again, if I can pump one out and maybe throw that one on an afternoon and do a different morning one, maybe I can sneak in like we're 1 week in. Here's a meta analysis and the summary of what I've thought so far. Could do something like that as like a bonus video, just a quick, instead of having to do like a full team, and you can just do like a quick analytics video of what I found the strengths and weaknesses are. But this one is not Empoleon dominating. This one is just Annihilate, just going hard. But you will see we CMP'd. So now it's a race to the Earthquake versus the Hydro, and this is where the energy generation on Steel Wing actually made you get to the Hydro first. So again, you can't just totally discount getting to Hydros faster, especially Hydro being one of the best fast moves and their charge moves in the game. You can't just discount that. You do pick up a lot of like weaknesses just with the water. I guess water resists water anyways, but like water resist steel. And then now instead of hitting neutral and steals with your fast move, you're hitting resisted, but now you're outpacing with these moves here, right? So again, so trade-off. But again, like you'd hit now neutral against grass as opposed to resisted on water. But yeah, so just I think the move is an upgrade, but it's like not like a game-breaking upgrade. They did not shield up. I thought they would maybe shield up potential Shadow Ball. They did not. So I will just Night Slash and counter here. And I think I just shield and counter down because I really don't want to come in with Crest here. And what is in the back? Oh yeah, the Feraligatr. Yeah, Feraligator's been on a lot of teams. I saw a couple Glades, which is tough at times, obviously. This will, you know what? Shadow Feraligatr does put this over 50% health. So to be able to two-shot I mean, you're doing super effective with the claws, so I guess it makes sense. But being able to like claw and hydro just twice to take out a crest is not insignificant. Yeah, so Feraligatr, I expect Feraligatr to be a staple. So the question is, maybe that's what I'll do for one of these videos. I'll do like, okay, I've used all these Pokemon. Feraligatr, yes. Glade, yes. Empoleon, no, probably not. Gudra, debatable actually. Again, I still don't think it's as good as Shadow Dragonair, but it's comparable. And if you like Shadow Dragonair and using it, which I do, and it's comparable, like, then you got to use it, sort of thing, right? So Gudra, yes. And then Hippo, again, you're gonna see that video probably tomorrow. I did not use the Shadow and I did not use Weather Ball Rock. And I'll go over the Weather Ball versus just Body Slam. It's just based on coverage, depending on what you think coverage is better here. And then I wasn't impressed with it, but I didn't use the Shadow. So maybe that actually did play a significant difference in here. So I will. My initial analysis was no on Hippo. But the Shadow is ranked 52 and the non-Shadow is ranked 121. What's the difference in PV Poke? So, yeah. See, Hippo, even the Shadow, has a 15 and 30 record in the even shield scenarios. Is it maybe a shield advantage strength Pokemon? 38 and 7 in the 0-1 and 40 and 5 in the 1-2. So shield advantage like beast. 15 and 30 is not a really good record. What does the non-Shadow have? 13 and 32. Holy smokes. Yeah, and honestly, I did not do well with Hippo. I did like well with the 3 teams that you've seen so far, but I actually did not do well with Hippo. And again, just looking at you're weak to water and you're weak to grass. Again, not a ton of grass, but like here are your super dominant losses. Whiscash, Swampert, Gligar. I mean, Annihilate's there too. Mantine, Dugong, Feraligatr, Azumarill, Lickitung, Skarmory, Trevenant, and then it's just like Gudra. Like these are all below 400. Poliwrath, Mandibuzz, Medi, Ninetales, all below the 400, which is like you get beat pretty badly. So yeah, I didn't do well with it, and the matrix shows that you're not going to do well with it either. So and now my double weakness to Ghost is coming out very, very prevalently. And this is my last one anyways. So that's it. Yeah, a couple more videos and then we'll go to Ultra League. So there's a couple things here because there's 2 weeks of this specialty cup next week, like Spring Cup. There's Spring Cup this week and there's Spring Cup the fall. Like next week is Ultra League and Spring Cup, and then it's Master League and Spring Cup. Both Spring Cups are Great League editions. So I don't know if I want to like. I'll definitely do top teams, and people will be looking for a Great League alternative compared to Ultra. So maybe we'll still do some, but I need to save all those battles for next week when Master League is on. And then the Ultra League is interesting. There are some Pokemon that have jumped up huge, for Alligator being like the number 1, the Shadow's number 2, and the non-Shadow's number 5. So it's just an instant beast there. Empoleon was always a staple in Ultra League until it just started getting outbulked. Now it's ranked Shadow number 15. That maybe have a little more play in Ultra League than it does the Great League. So I wouldn't be surprised if it actually does have more play in the Ultra League. So I'm definitely going to check that out. But there's not... And then Gallade. Yeah, Gallade again. Gallade and Empoleon. Take me back to the first season of GBL here. Gallade and Empoleon were staples in the Ultra League. In fact, there was only like 12 viable Pokemon in the Ultra League when it first started, and Gallade and Empoleon were 2 of those 12. The others were like, I'm just looking at the top list now, so like Giratina was always up there, Cress was always up there. This was before XL was a thing, so take off all these XLs, take off all these legendary Pokemon that weren't there, like Verizon, Cobalion, Tapu Fini. They were not there yet. So Swampert. Maybe 12 was a stretch here. Like, oh yeah, people were using Venusaur and Charizard. All the starters: Venusaur, Charizard, Swampert, Dragonite, Giratina, Gallade, Empoleon. Yeah, there was not much. There was not much when we first started. How times have changed. So Empoleon and Gallade were 2 of the top 10 Pokemon that everyone used, and then no one used them because XL and all these other legendary Pokemon came in, so they just became like irrelevant, and now they're both back in like the top 25. So it's funny. It's full circle here. Anyways, that's enough rambling. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.